Momentum make it 4 wins in a row as UVA has won 3 in a row, 4 of their last 5, and we tip it off for game 2 from Greensboro. Marley Washenitz named a captain midway through this season for Pitt, such an important part of their team. Michaela Elmore took the first shot, Clemson transfer in her first year with the Panthers. Inside to Faye, get used to a lot of that, but well done defensively by Virginia. Good to see Paris Clark back and healthy for the Cavaliers in that backcourt, along with McGee and Johnson. Odessa Noyan coming off a great game, and Latimore the main force inside, as that's a travel on Clark.
And Jen, we talked about Virginia's finish. Pittsburgh also with a great finish to the year with head coach Tori Verdi, and they've set some records. Most ACC wins in quite a while for Pitt.
Faye leads them in most categories, scoring, rebounding, blocks, double-doubles. In fact, she leads all of the ACC with 16 double-doubles. Washenitz, Elmore, Miles, and Johnson rounding out the starting 5 for the Panthers. Triple is good for Elmore.
Virginia starting in that 2-3 zone, so Pittsburgh trying to counter that, trying to get the ball inside, but Virginia's defended that well. Best way to open up a zone is to knock down the 3 ball.
Now that was a wide open look for Olivia McGee. Some defensive miscommunication on Pitt's part, but Virginia not able to capitalize.
And as I said, Virginia staying in that zone. When you have a player like Khadija Faye, that's why you play the zone, because you want to be able to have multiple bodies around her when she catches the ball inside.
Faye working for positioning against Latimore. Lost her balance. Here comes Johnson. Passes it off to McGee for 2. First points of the game for Virginia.
And assist number 1 for Kymora Johnson. That was an excellent pass. Virginia turning their defense into offense.
Keep those scorecards ready and active at home. What kind of big numbers might we get this time around with season on the line for both of these teams, trying to survive and advance for an opportunity to play the 7th-seeded Cavaliers tomorrow. Johnson, very capable 3-point shooter. 38% on the season, more than capable, leads Virginia in that category. Another 3 from Elmore, banks it in. Hey, when it's working, it's working.
Jen, I thought she tried to bank in the first one. Maybe this is a strategy. I did not subscribe to that strategy, but hey, you'll take it if you're Michaela Elmore.
Well, she struggled from 3. She's just 28% for the season, but hit her first 2 in this one. Latimore had the shot affected by Faye.
Well, it is a Wednesday, so the bank is open, and this tournament is sponsored by Ally, so makes a lot of sense that the bank would be wide open here.
Elmore 2 of 3, I should say, to start this game. She's not been afraid because the zone has given that 3-point look to her. Faye got open inside. Noyan came over to disrupt. Johnson so tough to keep in front, but she's looking to pass. Clark did not play in the regular season meeting between these two teams. She was sick. McGee makes good this time.
McGee known as a 3-point shooter. That's what she does for this team. If she gets that wide open of a look, it's going to go in.
3-point back and forth. There was a foul on that attempt by Michaela Johnson, so she'll have 3 free throws coming.
And an extra pass, attack, draw the defense, and then kick it out. Pitt defense was a bit lost, and they found Olivia McGee. And Michaela Johnson looks like she may have come down on Noyan's ankle as she drew the foul.
And Michaela Johnson, a redshirt sophomore transfer from Colorado, where she started her career, has been really influential in this last stretch for Pitt, averaging almost 17.5 points per game, shooting 53% from 3 over the last 5.
And look at the teamwork here. Marley Washenitz retying Michaela Johnson's shoe, trying to get it tighter. That's what makes me think it's an ankle. That's the first thing you do when you roll an ankle, is try to retie that shoe. You don't want to take the shoe off. You want to keep the shoe on and kind of keep the swelling contained.
Well, Kel, the soccer goalkeeper in me certainly appreciates when a teammate comes over to tie your shoe, because you don't want to mess with those big fat goalie gloves either.
We hope Johnson can return. I mean, you were saying it, Jen. She's been such a big part of Pittsburgh's run over the last 8 games where they've played well. And the last time these two played, she was great. So she's kind of that second scoring option for them outside of Khadija Faye.
Yeah, she had 27 points, hit 5 of 10 threes. I mean, that's another big number that we haven't even talked about yet from the regular season meeting.
Okay, and the only reason you do take off the shoe is to retape. If you're going to retape, then you do take off the shoe. If you're not going to retape, you just want to tie it back up, then you leave it on.
Now, since Johnson was unable to take these free throws, Audrey Biggs, a freshman out of Gatlinburg, Kentucky, comes in and does the honors. And she is a 92% free throw shooter. She had only taken 13 coming into today, but takes advantage of that opportunity. Johnson.
That was a smart substitution by Coach Verdi, by the way. Put in your best free throw shooter to shoot those free throws.
Latimore could not get over the double team, and Pitt will take it over. Brooklyn Miles has played at both Tennessee and Kentucky. Transferred to Pitt, running the point this season, one of the captains for the Panthers. Washinitz, can she get hot for Pitt? She's one of those barometer type players too that can really impact so many different parts of the game. Noyan took some steps.
And that's a tough pass to make for Paris Clark to Noyan, to put her in a tough situation. It was a great catch, but then of course she traveled. That's a pass you don't need to force. You didn't have numbers, just dribble the ball up and look to run something in your half-court offense.
Pitt Panthers looking for their first win at the ACC tournament since 2020. And that year, Kelly, I don't know if you remember who they got their win
I
against.
Remember.
Okay, it was the year that a lot of teams got something on the team in green. Notre Dame, 67-65.
Coach McGraw, take out your IFB. You don't want to hear this.
The Irish, of course, co-regular season champions this year in the ACC, along with NC State. Those top 4 seeds will be coming to play on Friday for quarterfinal Friday here in Greensboro.
But Jen, also that speaks to what Tory Verdi has done here at Pitt. In his second year, he took over a program that was really struggling. He's got them to 5 ACC wins, 13 total wins, most since 2017. He's had to rebuild this roster through the portal. A lot of players have improved under his watch. He's done a phenomenal job in year 2.
And he's got a lot of crutches and injured players over there as well. And I tell you what, Elmore's getting it all today. She's getting the backboard, she's getting every part of the rim. And when that's the case, you better keep feeding your three-point shooter.
Absolutely. Michaela Elmore with her 3rd 3 of the game. It's raining threes for Pittsburgh early in Greensboro.
Pitt Panthers taking some steps in their second season under head coach Tory Verdi. Those 13 wins, most since 2016-17, 5 ACC wins, so their second most since joining the conference. And a lot of those have come down the stretch. You see they start 1-9, 4-4 in their last 8 though, and they've won 2 of their last 3. And Michaela Elmore has the hot hand so far. She is 3 of 4 from 3. She has 9 points. That is more than Virginia. And we just did a quick search because Michaela has not been able to rely on that 3-point shot as much as she would like this season. Over the last 6 games, she's 3 of 26 from 3. But hey,
it's
when
March.
You're hot, you're hot.
That's right. Calendar turns to March. You get ready to roll. And Michaela Elmore, they're giving her the 3 in that zone, and she's making them pay.
Biggs. Yeah, they're taking Faye away. No points yet for the Panthers' leading scorer, but Elmore and company have helped from outside.
And that's Virginia's game plan from what I can tell. They don't want Faye to beat them. They give Pitt the 3, and of course they don't count on Michaela Elmore being 3 for 4 from beyond the arc to start the game.
Breona Hurd, the 6'2" freshman out of Missouri, has been such a great spark off the bench for this Virginia team all season long. Comes right in, scores. Do you make the right decisions against the zone? So far, Panthers have been able to get away with some outside shots and not that much penetration inside. That's a good look from Washinetz. Elmore and Johnson's just flying after it. Good defensive effort there by the Cavaliers.
And that's what Virginia wants. You want Pittsburgh to make tough, contested, risky passes against your zone because they can't get the dribble penetration they need. So that was a great defensive possession by Virginia. As Michaela Johnson checks back in, I was keeping an eye. They definitely retaped that foot. Then they're going to tie that shoe really tight, Jen.
Michaela Johnson and her tightly laced shoe back on the floor for the Panthers. Redshirt sophomore stepped up her game in conference play, averaging about 12.5 points per game. Told you about her most recent stretch. She's closer to 17 points per game over the last 5. But what does Virginia need to get working on this end of the floor?
They have got to find a way to get some dribble penetration, get into the lane, make it happen, as Pittsburgh has also moved to a 2-3 zone. And a lot of that goes through Kymora Johnson to find a way to get in the paint. But hey, if you can knock down some 3s against the zone, we know that opens things up. And that was a big shot from Paris Clark.
Paris Clark coming off a 17-point outing in that win at North Carolina. She knocked down 3 of her 6 3-point attempts in that game. Faye finally gets it inside. Rebound, Johnson.
That was a heck of a rebound by 5'6" Kymora Johnson.
That's how she gets to be flirting with triple doubles, Kelly. Clark had her shot blocked. Honestly been impressed by the defense and the effort by both teams here so far in this first quarter. There's a step out of bounds. 5th turnover.
And this ball movement for Virginia against the zone. Elmore gets caught on Breona Hurd inside, gives Paris Clark an open look from 3. Both teams playing zone, so we know the 3 ball is going to be imperative in this game, but also which team can get into the zone more and get some penetration into the paint. That's going to be big.
McGee has already knocked down 1 triple. Brooklyn Miles could not get around Clark.
Paris Clark read that perfectly. Read that Euro step. Knew Miles was going to try to go to the middle.
Johnson, so slithery, if that's a word, with the ball, trying to set up Hurd. You do wonder, can Pitt afford to go much longer without contributions from Faye? Washinetz, and good job boxing Faye out there too. She's excellent on the glass, averages in double figures in rebounding. Virginia did the work and got the reward on the other end.
And this is just one of the many things I love about Kymora Johnson's game. She figures out what the defense is giving her, right? She's not going to force her shot if it's not there. She already has 3 assists. That was a great pass to Paris Clark. A lot of players, when they are as good as her, they want to score early, they force it, but not most. She lets that game come to her.
Here is Faye trying to make things happen inside. She has not had single coverage all game. Been at least 2 Cavaliers around her every time she's touched the ball. Washinetz, junior out of Fairmont, West Virginia, to Elmore. Johnson pushing the pace. Miles step for step. Noyan. She can light it up from downtown. 37% from 3, 4 of 6 from downtown against North Carolina in Virginia's win on Sunday. Faye could not convert over the double team again. She is 0 for 6 in the game.
When you look at Kymora Johnson attacking the rim, drawing all of that attention and finding Paris Clark. And a good job by Paris Clark to make herself available for Kymora Johnson. And Breona Hurd, she was great on that previous possession for the double team. Help side was there. She knew exactly where she needed to be. You can tell that Virginia spent a lot of time figuring out and working on how they're going to guard Faye, and it has worked out well for the Hoos so far. Faye is scoreless, 0 for 6 in the first quarter.
And Virginia able to take the lead on that Breona Hurd free throw. Pitt had led by as many as 7 this quarter, but it's been an 8-0 Virginia run. Make it 9-0 as the Cavaliers have gathered themselves to take the lead. Faye not even on the floor at the moment for Pitt. It's Elmore who's switched it up and gone inside. She's knocked down 3 triples in the game. It's been quiet since, as has the rest of the Pitt offense. Kayla Johnson to Biggs, blocked.
By Kymora Johnson, of course.
Clark so speedy down the other way. Latimore couldn't hang on. And maybe one last shot here for Pitt to end the quarter. Panthers had it going early, but Virginia came on to take a 2-point.
They're 8-10 in the league. They play next right here on ACC Network, so keep an eye on Stanford. If they can win maybe 2 games here in this tournament, other teams lose, that could get very interesting, Jen.
Let's welcome Kymora Johnson to the scoring column for Virginia. Those are her first points of the game, leading scorer for the Cavaliers at 18 points per game.
And getting that penetration, getting in the paint. Both these teams have settled for some threes because the other teams are playing zone, but you've got to find a way to get in that paint.
And Latimore gets the block on Faye. Strength on strength there.
These are 2 of the better post players in the ACC, and Latimore with a big time block. Khadija Faye still scoreless.
And the turnover gives it back to Virginia. Johnson on the run, has Clark with her, takes it all the way herself.
So quick, Kymora Johnson in the open floor. And like I said, she really is patient, right? She's called her own number these last 2 plays, getting to the rim, but still always looking to pass as well.
Faye traveled before she could get that shot off.
And Kymora Johnson turning on the Jets right here on this play. And look how she's able to keep Washington's behind her, keep her on that right hip so that Washington's can't really do anything as Kymora Johnson gets right to the rim.
The run now 13-0 in favor of Virginia, dating back to the first quarter. Johnson makes it a little more.
It's Mo time. It is Mo time here in Greensboro. Kymora Johnson, 7-0 run by herself to start this second quarter. One of the best players in this league, without a doubt. If you're going to go onto the screen, she's going to pay. The Charlottesville native playing well for her Hoos.
Fans, I'm so excited. It's time for a game of crush, free throw, 3-point, or half-court shot. Representing the boys, I have Mason, and representing the girls, we have Parker. Here's how it works. They have 45 seconds to make all 3 types of shots, and let's see who really got game. Parker, you ready? Mason, you ready? Let's do it in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, I see you, Parker. Let's make some noise for Parker and Mason and Philly fans. Come on, come on, come on. All right. You got this.
More Mo is always a good thing for Virginia. Kymora Johnson with a quick 7-0 run of her own to start the second quarter, getting out in transition, getting to the rim. And then if you go under the screen on Kymora Johnson, she's going to make you pay. She's going to knock that down. She had 3 assists in the first quarter, 7 points here in the second. She's calling her own number, Jen, and that's just what Virginia needs. And we love this, Jen. We've talked about this all year. She's a Charlottesville native, grew up going to games, and you see that picture of her as a ball girl.
I mean, that's pretty special when you grow up coming to watch games, you dream about playing there, as she did, and then you not only go to the school, but you really make your mark, as she is doing now in her sophomore season.
And Kymora Johnson was a big-time recruit. She was a 5-star recruit. She could have gone anywhere. And when Coach Mox got that job, Coach Mox has told me the first order of business was talk to Kymora Johnson and see if she would wanted to stay home. So that was a big get for Coach Mox to get that type of player to stay at UVA.
Now Mox and Mo have quite a rapport. Those two often spending time with each other. The spin cycle is on here in Greensboro, and it is a 9-0 Kymora Johnson run.
A little smile from Kymora Johnson, thinking about what she just did.
And Michaela Elmore trying to get back to what she was doing early when she hit 3 threes in the first quarter. Hurd forcing the issue the other way. See if that was Faye who committed the foul. I think it was.
This is a special play from Kymora Johnson. Behind the back spin move, throw it up there. Her handles are so tight, she can dribble that ball, and then the way she can get to the rim and finish through contact. You pair that with her three-point shooting ability, her passing ability. She's just the complete package at the point guard spot for UVA.
How much fun is that to watch? I mean,
that's why I say she's must-watch television. I think, you know, we can talk about Virginia and the steps that they've taken. You obviously see their record, finishing 10th in the league. They're not going to make the NCAA tournament, and that's why you have to be watching right now and watch tomorrow if Virginia wins, because Kymora Johnson may be the best player in the country to not play in the NCAA tournament this year. I'm hopeful for UVA they can get an NIT bid and continue their season and then build upon that for next season. But watch her while you can this year with Kymora Johnson.
Faye, open look for Biggs as Faye plays the role of passer. That last foul was on Washington's, by the way, not Faye, so she's still clean in that category. No points yet, though, for the Panthers' leading scorer, and she has scored 20-plus in the last 7, averaging over 20 points per game in ACC play. I was gonna say they might have to bring out those flamethrowers they put on the court before each game if Kymora Johnson had hit that shot. And Michaela Johnson for Pitt, who had the foot injury earlier, now is getting her hand looked at.
Tough start for Michaela Johnson, and they need her. She is their scoring punch from the outside that pairs well with Khadija Faye on the inside, especially against a zone. They need Michaela Johnson's presence on the perimeter.
Elmore wanted to go to Faye, and Virginia has done their scout, haven't they?
They've been all over Khadija Faye, not letting her get anything easy.
And so many times you watch Khadija Faye go to work and the numbers she puts up against really good ACC teams, and you think, how do you stop her? Well, Virginia has figured that out so far.
And Faye, she's put up these numbers and she gets consistently double teamed. That's something she deals with night in, night out. But Virginia has good size on the backside of their zone. Latimore is 6'4" with the wingspan. There aren't a lot of players like that in the ACC, so she's a real challenge for Faye. Then you have Hurd and McGee in there, both over 6 foot. That back line for Virginia with their size has been a problem for Pitt.
And Virginia coming into this game needing just 4 blocks to set the program single season record in that category. Latimore misses out on 2 opportunities at the free throw line. And the Cavaliers already have those 4 blocks, so they are at the record and maybe looking for more. Latimore going for it there. On cue. Defense coming through. Clark. Jump ball.
And one of the reasons why Virginia is on pace, really the main reason, to set that record, Jen, is Latasha Lattimore. She has been so good defensively for UVA. Her 6'4" frame with that wingspan, it is formidable inside.
Coach Mock saying she just had to get Latimore to believe she was as good as her coach knew she was, and this her first year after transferring from Miami. And I think you and I were in agreement. We both voted her at least to be on the second team, but did not get that nomination at the end of the year. Washington's with the shot clock going down. Finally is able to hit and make her first field goal of the game.
Washington is someone who can help with that offensive spark that Pitt is lacking right now without Kymora Johnson. She's played well lately, coming off 12 points against Wake Forest, and she can shoot the rock.
McGee. It's been all from the outside for Pitt in this game so far to account for their 17 points. And when you try to go inside, you get a lot of that.
A lot of Latimore. That's what you get, Jen. This is just that length from Latimore. Washington's trying to maybe get some contact as she attacks, but that is one of the cleanest blocks you'll see all tournament from Latasha Lattimore.
6 blocks now for Virginia as they have blown that single season record away. And Faye still scoreless for the Panthers. Washington's again 1 on the shot clock. Beat the buzzer but couldn't get it to fall this time. Johnson to Latimore. Gonna call Latimore pushing off as Washington's inviting the contact.
Pitt trying to basically sandwich Latimore, have someone fronting her and have someone behind, and Latimore pushes off with that left arm. That's a good call.
6 turnovers apiece, but Virginia with the advantage. I mean, Pitt is trying every which way to get the ball inside to their all-ACC first-teamer, Khadija Faye.
And a lot of it is Latimore's presence in the middle, because they're trying, let's see, you had Hurd on the left block with Faye, and then Latimore just sits there in the middle and she kind of puts her hand in and creeps in, and so it discourages Pitt from even making that pass to Faye.
Washington wants it. Latimore on the glass. Johnson having her way. Assist to Hurd.
Kymora Johnson putting Pitt players in the spin cycle, and then a great pass to Breona Hurd. Member of the All-ACC freshman team, very well deserved for Hurd.
Duke's Toby Fournier named the ACC Rookie of the Year. Tremendous season she has had, and the Blue Devils part of those top 4 seeds, and Faye showing she knows a thing or two about blocking shots on this end.
Kymora Johnson Just so good at using that spin move in transition. And that was Khadija Faye with a big block on Paris Clark, trying to make her presence felt even though she's not doing much offensively right now for Pitt.
Faye leads the Panthers, came into this game with 72 blocks on the season. Latimore had 63 for Virginia. Both have added to those totals already. Johnson, so alert, looking for options. Latimore. Cavaliers will get another chance on the Noyon offensive rebound, and Faye says, don't come in here, Kymora Johnson.
Maybe this will get Khadija Faye going a little bit. 2 big blocks back to back for her, and that's a great play to defend without fouling from Khadija Faye.
Reached the 1,000 point mark Faye earlier this season, and she won't stop working. You talked to Tori Verdi about her. He is so impressed with what she has put in this season, and she turns it over here, but made a huge jump. I mean, you think about what she did in her career. She started at Texas Tech for 2 years, then spent 2 years at Texas, and she averaged right around 5 points per game. Now, one of just 3 players in the ACC averaging over 20 in conference play this season.
And we've got 2 players in this game who transferred to new places and were able to improve tremendously. When you look at Khadija Faye and Latasha Lattimore, they are without a doubt 2 of the most improved players in the ACC.
The block party continues down low for Faye. Faye on one end, Latimore on the other for Virginia. Johnson had those 9 points all in a row to start this quarter for Virginia. Pitt defense holding its ground. Washington's, the lefty 3 is good.
Much needed for Pittsburgh, guys. They were on quite the scoring drought there, but Washington's, she has played great. The second half of the year, she was actually named a captain mid-season because of her effort and the way she was playing from Coach Verdi. I mean, that says a lot, and Washington's very much a heart and soul player for this team.
Now, you watch her, you'll see why. Doesn't take long to sense the leadership there. Miles given the 3. Pitt did hit a couple of 3s early, but the Panthers is 5 of 14 from beyond the arc in the game so far. It's actually better than Virginia, who's 3 of 14, but the Cavaliers getting all kinds of other scoring when they need it. They just need a better pass that time for Faye.
They still have not been able to get Faye a good look. Faye is doing what she can to try to get that basketball. You got to give a lot of credit to Virginia and what they're doing defensively. It's obvious this was, you know, at the very top of the scouting report to try to keep the ball out of Faye's hands and just bring a bunch of different bodies to her whenever she gets the ball.
10 on the shot clock for Washington, and she will have 3 free throws on the way after getting fouled on the 3-point attempt.
Washington's is crafty. She knows how to play the game of basketball, drawing this foul, taking that contact and rolling with it, if you will, Jen Hildreth.
Do you want to know the fun fact, Kelly, that I have about Marley Washington?
Of course I do.
Well, she's a 2-time West Virginia Player of the Year, Gatorade West Virginia Player of the Year, but what you might not know, she's related to an Olympic gold medalist, Mary Lou Retton, part of the family tree for Marley Washington. Yeah.
Hoping Marley got a little more height, which she did, 5'7", but athletic bloodlines for sure.
8 points in the game for Marley Washington, just behind Elmore's 9 to lead Pitt. 4-point game, and Virginia now has missed their last 8 shots. And they turn it over on this possession. Well, we are so happy to have our Nothing But Net crew on hand here in Greensboro. We see you over there, Justin, getting a little groove on. Ivory always is. Coach trying to keep them in order. They will have you covered at halftime and all week long. Kelly will be joining them too. Pulling some double duty today, Kelly.
I'm very excited to do it. Glad to be back over there with my crew later on today.
Washinets, 6 to shoot. Still nary a point for Khadija Faye. She tries to get the rebound and can't. That's been the other part of it. She often gets a lot of points off of rebounds, but Virginia has just not allowed it in this game.
Both teams have been defensive rebounding really well. There haven't been a lot of offensive rebounds on either side.
Khadija Faye has never been held scoreless in a first half this season. Her low was 3 points in the first half way back early in the season against New Hampshire, and that was December 19th. And you figure all that, and Pitt is still within 4 points? That has to have them feeling pretty good. Johnson, McGee, no. Will stay under the basket. 8 seconds on the shot clock for Virginia.
Johnson's teammates have to help her out. She's done a great job of getting into the paint against that zone and finding open shooters. Virginia has just not been able to knock down those open looks in the second quarter.
Clark wanted to get it back to Kymora Johnson. Got the look they wanted, but not the finish. And the shot, good if it goes. But Virginia will have a 4-point lead at the half. Kymora Johnson leading the point, Virginia advantage. Noyan. Cavaliers working it around. Everyone has touched the basketball. Noyan had it blocked. That is 5 by Khadija Faye. But Latimore and Virginia stay with it and get the points. First points of the game for Latasha Lattimore.
And Latimore taking a minute, she fell on that play, and then she gets the steal, of course.
Just like you planned it.
Pitt had a 5-on-4 situation with Latimore down on the other end, and there wasn't a sense of urgency from Pitt to take advantage of it.
Was a sense of urgency from the senior, Latasha Lattimore. Played 1 year at Texas, 2 years at Miami before transferring to Virginia. 5 to shoot for Virginia, who've been on a drought of their own. They were 0 for their last 10 coming into this third quarter.
Noyan's got to be ready to shoot for Virginia. She's had 2 open looks there, and she's got to keep that defense honest by shooting it from the mid-range, and she's very capable of that.
Audrey Biggs on the floor for Pitt. Not sure
There's
the
the
status
double
of Michaela Johnson, who was beat up both. Well, she's got ice on her hand, Michaela Johnson, over on the bench for Pitt.
And Latimore, I thought for a second, I was worried she hurt herself, but she was able to get back up. And then Pitt just kind of threw the ball right to her. That's one of the crazier plays you're going to see in this tournament.
Washinets blocked by Clark. We have our 2 excellent statisticians, 2 of the best in the business, Freddie Kiker, John Madry, looking at total blocks in an ACC tournament game. We may be headed that way, folks. Out of bounds, turnover to Virginia.
And you mentioned Michaela Johnson on the bench there. She had the turned ankle. She's got the ice on her hand. She's also got something in her nose there too. It was a tough first half for Michaela Johnson. We sure hope she's okay. But this is an issue for Pittsburgh because they're missing their big scoring threat on the outside. So there's not much that Virginia has to worry about besides Khadija Faye.
McGee only hit 1 of her 5 3-point attempts in the first half, but the offensive rebound keeps it with the Cavs. Latimore, no points in the first half, going right at Khadija Faye, who wanted the block, gets the foul instead. That's the second foul on Faye.
And this here shows the difference between the way Faye's being guarded and the way Latimore's being guarded. There's no double. Latimore has all the time in the world to get to her move and go one-on-one with Khadija Faye. And that speaks to the importance of having perimeter threats. Because Kymora Johnson's not out there for Pitt, there's not much that Virginia has to think about. But for Virginia, of course, you've got Kymora Johnson, you've got Hurd who's playing well. So it creates a lot more room for Latimore to work when she gets the ball.
Latimore missed both of her free throw attempts in the first half. Just a 65% free throw shooter on the season, hits both of those, has all 6 of Virginia's points in the third. Well, someone got the message at halftime.
She must have been listening, Jen.
And there's been no lack of effort by Pitt to get the ball inside to Faye. They've tried all game long. It's just been, as you showed us, better defense by the Cavaliers. Elmore following up on the shot, got deep. Faye is fouled. So maybe Khadija Faye gets her scoring started from the free throw line.
And here's the thing with Khadija Faye. Obviously, it's been a frustrating game so far, but she hasn't stopped working. She had great position inside to get that rebound. She just continues to fight to try to get those rebounds and make an impact for her team.
Had 5 rebounds and 4 blocks at the half. That was the second foul she just drew on Latimore. And there is the first point for Faye. Well, coming up after the game, our Nothing But Net crew has you covered from right here in Greensboro at the Coliseum. They will fill you in on the day that has been so far and get you set for what's still to come tonight and the rest of the week here at the ACC Women's Tournament. First points for Faye. But the Panthers still down 8. Had the lead early in this game, but have just not been able to consistently get good looks offensively.
And Virginia's got to be aware, just 7 seconds on the shot clock here.
Johnson's who you'd like to have the ball in her hands. She gets it out to Clark. Had to take a quick shot. I'll tell you, when it is open, it's open. That's a bank for both teams from 3 today.
Coach Mox is over there laughing at that play. Paris Clark, not the best three-point shooter on the year, just 23%, but she's 2 for 3 from beyond the arc today. And a good awareness from her, knowing she had to get that ball off quickly with the shot clock.
I'm not sure was better there, the quick release and hop on the shot or the bank to make it go in.
Or Coach Mox laughing, or that one.
3 for 3. 3 to shoot now for Miles and Pitt. She makes her way to the basket, and that is a shot clock violation. Kelly, you want to use your line again?
Look, we love Ally, and they're sponsoring this great tournament. Have they talked to these players? Do they want more banks in this tournament? Because we've had 2 banked-in threes today in a tournament sponsored by Ally. It's just synergy right there.
Kymora Johnson. No foul called on the play. 9 points for Johnson, all of those coming in one stretch in the second quarter, but she's been busy trying to set up her teammates. As Kelly said, just needs some of her teammates to make a few more shots and her assist number would be significantly higher. She already has 5. Been averaging nearly a triple-double over the last few games of the regular season. Frustrated with the travel call on this play. 9th Virginia turnover.
Her teammates are helping her a bit more in this third quarter. You've seen some more shot making, that big shot from Paris Clark as well. And Pitt, as you said, Jen, they just have to, I would love for them to get Khadija Faye the ball at the elbow extended, right? Put her in the zone where Elmore is, where Elmore just was. Get her the ball in the middle of that area. Just get her the ball where they can't double her. That's what I would do if I'm Pitt.
Yeah, she hasn't moved much off either block. 5 to shoot. Swing pass to Miles. Faye is there. There's the bounce pass and the finish for Faye. First field goal of the day.
And that was a great pass inside to Khadija Faye. As I said, she continues to work and continues to battle inside.
Hurd left open. She'll make you pay for that.
Breona Hurd, a Missouri kid. Coach Mox was recruiting her when she was at Missouri State. And she followed Coach Mox out here to Virginia.
Washington's going for the ball, got a piece of McGee, and that is a foul on Washington. It's her second.
And this big-time shot from Paris Clark, a great pass from Kymora Johnson to beat the shot clock. And Pitt, they're getting the ball going to Khadija Faye. Let's see if they can do more of that in the third quarter.
Olivia McGee injured on that last play. Marley Washington was called for the foul, and an already short bench gets even shorter for Virginia. This is the play.
That does not look good for Olivia McGee. You can see the pain on her face. A sophomore known as a sharpshooter, a Virginia kid. And Virginia already with a pretty short bench. Yonta Vaughn out for the year. That's their backup point guard. And so this is another guard that Virginia, at least looks like right now, will be without. And then, of course, you've got Kymora Johnson, who's still icing that hand on the bench for Pittsburgh.
Only 6 players have played in this game for Virginia, and the Yonta Vaughn injury that you mentioned is part of the reason that Kymora Johnson rarely leaves the floor. Oh, that's a tough foul, Faye on her. That'll be the third on Khadija Faye.
Number 15, Khadija Faye.
This is a tough fall for Hurd. Just gets in the air and then really has nowhere to land.
2 for the Cavaliers, number 21, Kymora Johnson. Oh no, Breona Hurd.
And you can see what the Virginia bench looks like. Beaten and battered. Vaughn has, as we mentioned in the middle there, been unable to play most of the season, and that is something that has been a season-long adjustment for this Virginia team.
Part of the reason why Kymora Johnson leads the ACC in minutes, because they don't have a true backup point guard with Yonta Vaughn, who's been out since December 8th. And then as they continue to look at Olivia McGee, looks like it might be an ankle, which a lot of times can be better than a knee, so.
We'll hope for the best for McGee. Obviously, Virginia has plans to stay a little longer here in Greensboro. Have to get through the Panthers first, and then that would set up a date with the 7th-seeded Cavaliers, 5 p.m. tomorrow. Travel on that possession. Latimore turns it over.
Virginia and Cal played a really close game in the regular season. Cal ended up winning it, but it was a tight one in Charlottesville.
Khadija Faye has just started to find her way for Pitt. Offensively, she saves this ball to keep it in, but it was already out of bounds, they'll say. But those 3 fouls, certainly something to be wary of.
And Coach Verdi just can't risk not having her on the floor right now and let this lead balloon. So he's keeping her in the game with those 3 fouls and trusting that she can navigate that. They've switched defensively, at least trying to keep Faye on Noyon and having Elmore guard Latimore to try to keep Faye out of foul trouble.
The Panthers bench is very short as well with the injuries they've had throughout the year. Only played 7 players in the game, and Johnson may not be coming back as Kymora Johnson hits the triple. 12 in the game now for Kymora Johnson, and the answer on the other end. Faye will head back to the free throw line.
Kymora Johnson, the first player in this game to get to double figures, gives the ball up and then gets it back, staying active, finding her own shot, always looking to create. There's no wasted dribbles or wasted actions from Kymora Johnson.
Faye, a 72% free throw shooter on the season. Slowly getting those points going for her team, which need them as Virginia has extended their lead. 6 now in the game for Faye, still well below her average of 19.2 for the season. Does have 6 rebounds, 5 blocks in the game. And Latimore, by the way, since we're watching the block party for both teams, has 3 blocks, but 5 steals. Virginia just not taking very good care of the basketball. 11 turnovers now for the Cavaliers.
Breona Hurd tried to pass that ball to Coach Mox.
She didn't want it.
No, Mox did not want that basketball. Not pleased with that. And I understand Mox's frustration. It feels like this is a game where Virginia should have pulled away a bit more, just with how they've played offensively and how Pitt's been limited without Johnson. They've been so good on Faye overall, but Virginia just can't get enough going offensively to really blow the game open.
And this could change the tenor of this game as we go along, as the fouls start to mount up. That is something that Virginia did well in the first half, to defend without fouling when Pitt went inside to Faye.
And Faye's trying to make her move quicker. I know Virginia's been great getting the double team there, but they've been a bit slower here in the second half. And Faye, the second she catches that ball, she's going up. She's trying to make something happen, and that's how she's drawing these fouls.
Latimore picking up her 3rd on that last play. And Faye perfect from the free throw line, 6 for 6. Pittsburgh inching closer here in the 3rd. Hurd, she's been left open there, and if you haven't figured it out yet, the bank is definitely open here today in Greensboro, at least in this one.
Pitt is giving Virginia that little free throw line jumper, and the Who's have to be more willing to take it. That was a good job by her.
First 2-pointer of the game by Elmore, and in fact, I'm not sure we hit it. Pitt, oddly, was 1 for 16 from 2 in the first half. 5 of 14 from 3. You can see a few more of those 2-point field goals go in. Clark contested. And Pitt shooting just 25% in this quarter, but that is money in the bank right there to go inside to Faye. Just like that, Khadija Faye in double digits trying to pull Pittsburgh back into this one.
here in Greensboro, Virginia, leading Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh finding some offensive momentum here. This is great spacing by Pitt. You have bigs in the corner, that's a shooter, so Hurd has to stay out here. You've got an overload over here and a ton of space for Khadija Faye to work. You can't bring a double with that kind of spacing. And that was an excellent pass by Michaela Elmore. When you have this spacing, the 4-round one, you get some more room in there for Khadija Faye to go to work.
Khadija Faye, all of her points, 10 of them in the game coming in this quarter. A lot of them from the free throw line, as you can see. And Virginia looking to get clicking a little bit again. Cavaliers have been in control, but as you've said, have not been able to put Pittsburgh away. That'll help. Clark, the triple.
Paris Clark continues to light it up from 3. 3 for 4 from beyond the arc.
It's going to be a foul against Virginia. Sorry, Cal.
Pittsburgh gets lost on this situation. Elmore drops back. Washington isn't sure where to go. And Paris Clark, wide open look. She knocks it down.
Noyan just picked up her 3rd foul for Virginia. Each team with 4 fouls in this quarter. Washington's nobody stepped to stop her. She'd love to have that look back. Washington's just 2 of 7 from 3-point land in this game. 2 of 12 from the floor. Still a double-digit lead for Virginia, thanks to that last 3 from Clark. And Kymora Johnson making it look pretty. The threes raining now for Virginia as they extend the lead. Back in action here with just over a minute to go in the 3rd quarter. This is the last 3 for Kymora Johnson. So sweet.
And that's back-to-back threes from Paris Clark and Kymora Johnson. And that's how Virginia is going to be able to open this game up, if they can knock down threes against that Pittsburgh zone.
Now, quick change to let you know about. They took a foul away from Latasha Lattimore. I think got maybe at least a piece of the ball that time around. So she has just 2 in the game. Edessa Noyan has 4. So she's currently on the bench for Virginia. Casey Valenti-Paya on in her place. Tough drive, no finish, but Faye follows it up. Blocked by Latimore, who got a piece of it on the 3rd attempt too. Clark, a little bit too much contact, gets whistled for the foul.
This was a good job by Latasha Lattimore to defend without fouling. Involved on multiple shot attempts, 3 different shot attempts, got at least 1 block in there. Virginia not able to come down with the rebound, but I know Latimore now with only 2 fouls, but still a great job to defend without fouling.
Pitt now in the bonus, so Brooklyn Miles will step to the free throw line. No points in the game. She did have 3 assists in the first half, so there's her first point. Former Kentucky Gatorade Player of the Year, Miss Kentucky basketball in high school. Senior for the Panthers. 14-point, now 13-point Virginia lead. Now 12 as our scoreboard gets caught up. And Kymora Johnson, and 2 defenders swarming around her. They don't want her to take that last shot. Clark steps back, picks it up. Johnson at the buzzer. A bit short, but Virginia up a dozen as we head to the 4th here in
Huge. They could have finished 9-9. But if they can at least win today, they got to start there. And then perhaps an upset tomorrow if they win and play Louisville. Things could get interesting. Other teams have to lose. There's got to be some more chaos throughout the country. But I still think Stanford has a chance and has a lot to gain from this tournament.
Well, you could see Khadija Faye's reaction there. That was called on her, and that is her 4th foul.
I think Coach Verdi's going to keep her in. because at this point, you're trying to get back in the game. You can't afford for that lead to get any higher, and he doesn't really have many other players with the injuries they've had. Amaya Jenkins out for the year, as well as Lauren Rust out for the year, and Kiara Williams. They've had some injuries. They just don't really have the depth to put her on the bench.
Latimore has struggled from the free throw line today. She's 2 of 6 in her free throw attempts.
Virginia's a really good free throw shooting team on the year, but they've left 7 points at the free throw line this afternoon.
Shot clock winding down, and it is a violation. Nothing Johnson could do there, being well defended. You know, sometimes you have to find a way to win ugly.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit of that feeling here. We've seen both teams go on lengthy droughts. No score for either team yet here in the 4th. Be a kick ball. Doesn't really do too much other than just allow Pitt to reset and inbound. Faye on the floor with 4 fouls. Washinet's using that shot fake, but then ran into Paris Clark. And I think they're saying Clark was on the baseline, so out of bounds on Virginia. It'll be Pitt ball.
That's a big break for Pitt, as that looked like it was going to end up a turnover. Now they have a fresh 30 seconds to work with.
Miles ran into a wall of Virginia defenders. Excuse me, that was Aaron Battle, sophomore out of Sewell, New Jersey. And we continue on. Pitt will try again. Find Faye. Paris Clark, junior for the Cavaliers. Hurd, just a freshman. Latimore may have a year of eligibility left, but she drives and makes this one count. 8 points in the game for Latimore.
Latimore does have a year of eligibility left. We've talked to Coach Mox about that, so that's something that Virginia's excited about.
For the here and now, though, she's trying to ensure Virginia moves on to tomorrow.
Absolutely, and Latimore just so long. That length, her 6'4" frame, I mean, you can't coach that. That's something that you're born with, and then, of course, harnessing that ability. Latimore has had a phenomenal season, nearly 15 points per game. Without a doubt, I know Zoe Brooks, most improved player in the league and well-deserved, but Latimore also in that discussion is one of the most improved players in the ACC.
10 to shoot for Pitt. They go inside to Faye, who has to reset herself. More Johnson behind the back with ease. And then the basket to follow. Largest lead of the game now for Virginia.
That is so smooth. One of Kymora Johnson's biggest strengths is her ability to just stop on a dime. She's attacking and then boom, behind the back dribble, hits you with that jumper. So shifty in transition.
And Battle able to sneak in and grab the rebound and take advantage of it.
And no reason for Virginia to rush. 14-point lead. You want to use a good bit of that clock on your offensive possessions.
Clark into the lane, back out to Noyan, who checked back into the game a few moments ago. Noyan's first points.
That's what I mean, Jen, when I talked about Noyan being willing to shoot that jumper. She shot the ball really well. She had 16 points against North Carolina. She was 4 for 6 from 3. She's got to be that threat for Virginia to shoot from the mid-range. And then Kymora Johnson, this is what I mean by stopping on a dime. Just change of direction, quick move with the behind the back. And she's so fast, right? You're worried about her getting to the rim, and then boom, pulls up for a second. It's really hard to guard.
Paris Clark out to Latimore. Thought about it for a moment, likes a closer look. Elmore doing the defending, but it's not enough.
Latimore just continuing to attack, doesn't give up on the play, finishing through contact.
Virginia starting to pull away here in the fourth. The Ally ACC Women's Basketball Tournament is brought to you by Ally, the bank that's your ally. Let's take a look at the dynamic play of the game, brought to you by T. Rowe Price. All right, pick your play from Latasha Lattimore. She is doing it all.
She is filling up the stat sheet. 8 points, 9 rebounds, 6 blocks.
Career high.
5 steals.
Career high.
Unbelievable. And Latimore all over the place defensively, on the glass, and she's been able to turn up her offense here in the second half. But that is quite the stat line for Latimore, and she's been great defensively, Jen. I think that's what really stands out, right? The career high in blocks and steals.
Not sure what just happened. Something fall on the court is what we're being told from the scoreboard.
Got to keep your head in the swivel.
I mean, it wasn't the t-shirt, Kelly, that you have to watch out for. That is a little worrisome. Looks like we feel like it's safe enough to play on, so here we go. Virginia trying to finish the business here in the first round, move on to the next round to take on the Cavaliers, who, as you said, those two played a great game in the regular season. Cal did get the win. Biggs hits a much-needed 3 for the Panthers, who only had 2 points before that shot in this quarter.
At this point for Pittsburgh, it's going to take the 3 ball to really get them back in this game.
Khadija Faye, remind you again, playing with 4 fouls. As is Latasha Lattimore for Virginia, who I believe stepped out of bounds a couple of times between our 2 games here so far today.
Getting adjusted to a different court, and this court, I love it. I mean, the look of it is really cool, but also the colors are a bit different, so sometimes it can take a second for players to adjust.
Well, Khadija Faye had a single defender for a moment. You said one of the things she's done better in this half was to make her move quicker. This time she waited, some help came. She does manage to draw the foul, and that's the 5th on Noyon. So with 6 minutes to go, Noyon heads out. Remember, we have not seen Olivia McGee back in this game after she suffered an injury. And so for the first time today, Taylor Lauterbach comes on. You'll certainly notice the height, the 6'7" graduate center. Played 3 years at Kansas State before coming to Virginia. And Faye continues to chip away at that Virginia lead from the free throw line. What a job she has done. She has not gotten a lot of easy looks from the floor, but she is 8 of 8 from the free throw line, 2 of 14 from the floor. So Valenti Paya, Hurd, Kymora Johnson, Lauterbach, and Latimore, the 5 on the floor for Virginia right now. Valenti Paya got to that soft spot in the middle of the defense. And look, if Lauterbach comes out, what you want her to do is what she just did. Reach up, grab a rebound, keep your possession alive. Nobody there that time other than Khadija Faye. Faye double digits now with 10 rebounds and 12 points, so another double-double. As Washinets can't hit from 3, Faye got a hand to it, couldn't hang on. 17th double-double for Faye this season. That leads all players in the ACC.
And so much respect for Khadija Faye fighting through that first half where Virginia had a great plan. They were doubling her even before the catch sometimes where she couldn't get the basketball. And Faye, she never pouted. She never showed any emotion with it. She just kept playing. And she's had a good second half, very productive for Pitt.
Some fast break points potentially, but Washington is going to pull it back out. Credit Virginia, who got back defensively. Faye trying to go up and over Lauterbach.
And that's Lauterbach doing her job. Sat for most of the game. She was on the bike to try to get warm. It's tough when you have sat on the bench for over an hour and a half of real time, and she's come in and done her role.
Virginia looking for its first win at the ACC tournament since 2019. They were an 11 seed last year, lost in the first round, an upset to the 14 seed Wake Forest. 18 teams in the league this year. 15, though, remain the number that made it here to Greensboro. Pitt had to earn that spot on the final day. All right, Faye and Lauterbach both go down. And it is on Lauterbach, the foul. Pitt can breathe a sigh of relief. Keep Faye out there a little longer.
Khadija Faye just continuing to battle. It does feel like Pitt is going to have to hit some threes. Washington's missed those last two. They've been good looks, but to really chip away at this lead, they're going to have to hit some threes.
That was not a good place to put that pass. Washington's did the best she could, but winds up giving it to Virginia on the break. Hurd makes the basket and earns a trip to the free throw line.
And Jen, in the end, you just can't save this ball. You've got to let the ball go out of bounds if you're Marley Washington and live to fight another day on defense. Breona Hurd takes advantage of that play, finishes through contact, and Hurd with a really nice game for the Hoos, the young freshman, 15 points and 6 rebounds.
Yeah, she's going to be a fun player to watch for the future. Just a freshman, first year, if you will, at Virginia.
Yeah. There you go, Jen. Speaking that Virginia language.
How to use the Virginia vernacular. Faye from the free throw line. Latimore.
What a rebound.
Now double figures on the glass for Latimore with 10. Lauterbach wants the three. I'm not sure that's part of her job description. She can shoot it, but I'm not sure that's what they want.
Not that quick in the shot clock in this type of situation when you have this lead.
Kymora Johnson has just been so good when called upon in this game. She's kept her composure. She's scored when she's needed. She's tried to set up her teammates. Had a triple-double in the regular season meeting against Pittsburgh. 17 points in this game, go along with 6 assists. Let's take a look at our star stories for players that have been crushing it. Brought to you by Crush. We're going to put Kymora Johnson and Latasha Lattimore both in there for Virginia.
When you fill the stat sheet like Latimore has, with those 6 blocks, 5 steals, 10 rebounds, and, 8 points as well, you deserve to be on that graphic with where you're crushing it.
And the whole team defensively crushing it for Virginia. 11 blocks by 6 different players as Aaron Battle just swipes it away. But 13 blocks, promised you we were looking it up, is the record for an ACC tournament game. So Virginia's still a couple away from matching that.
And Jen, as we get to the latter part of this game, I think Virginia, I know their resume because of some tough non-conference wins and finishing 8 and 10. If they could have finished maybe 9 and 9 or 10 and 8, they maybe be in the discussion, but they're not in the discussion right now for the big dance. I think this is a team that definitely belongs in the WNIT, which is taking a bigger role, that tournament in women's basketball this year, sponsored by the NCAA. So I do think Virginia will get a look for that tournament, finishing over 500. Looking to get their 17th win here, and that would be a big step. The last NCAA tournament Virginia made was 2018. The last NIT was 2017. That would be a really good step for Coach Mox in this program.
Program with a proud history, 3 ACC tournament titles. The last, though, coming in 1993. Latimore, double-double for Latimore today. 12 points, 10 rebounds. Faye just continues to struggle, but you give a lot of the credit for that struggle to the Virginia defense and the game plan they had for defending one of the ACC's best on the inside.
Absolutely. They've done a great job on Faye, making it difficult for her. And how about Latasha Lattimore grabbing that rebound over Faye, one of the best rebounders in the league. And Lattimore just, I think she is truly just getting to the tip of her potential. Like, it's the tip of the iceberg. With another year of eligibility and another year in this system, she could have an even better year next year for Virginia.
Well, you love the idea of that duo to build around with Latimore inside and Johnson outside. And look at the bench and the team celebrate for Lauterbach. Peyton Dunbar also out there off the bench for Virginia.
Taylor Lauterbach comes off the bench in this fourth quarter. Nice move inside, and the bench is absolutely loving it. Olivia McGee looks like she's in better spirits over there, by the way, standing up on the bench, so that seems to be a good sign for Virginia.
Well, the Panthers put together a great push toward the end of the season, winning 2 of their last 3, including a win at Wake Forest on Sunday. Their most wins at 13 in a number of years. 5 ACC wins, second most in program history. But today, just not enough to overcome Virginia. The Cavaliers are going to make it 4 straight wins and move on to the next round. Dunbar. A bad idea. Got in the game, passed the ball around, took the shot, but not to be. Faye. How wonderful has it been to watch Khadija Faye in the ACC all season long? A tremendous year for the all-ACC first-teamer.
Without a doubt. That was a great catch, by the way, on that play. Khadija Faye, she has brought it every single night. She's attracted double teams. She's been the focal point of the scouting report, and she has just continued to push through that. Double numbers every single night for these Pitt Panthers, and a phenomenal year for her.
When you think about her journey, she is named a captain this year for the Panthers. She's a graduate transfer. She's from Dakar, Senegal originally. First 2 years at Texas Tech. Got some time in the starting lineup, same at Texas, but now really a huge part of what this Pitt team was able to do this year. Virginia Cavaliers, though, thinking ahead to tomorrow. First job is done. Second job will be a date with the Cal Bears at 5 p.m. tomorrow in the second round here in Greensboro. Cavalier defense picks up a